What's up, guys? Josh Boycott reporting to you live from Soldier Field, where the Bears just lost to the Minnesota Vikings 27-24 on Monday Night Football to kick off the 2025 regular season. It was really a tale of two halves for the Bears, one in which they looked dominant in the first half. This is Caleb Williams' own words. They felt they dominated that first half, came out in the second half flat, and ended up getting let down on both sides of the ball as the Vikings scored 21 fourth quarter points unanswered to put the Bears away. A couple of miscues along the way, penalties, missed opportunities will definitely haunt the Bears as they look back on the film in this game. But they do not have long to dwell on this. They have another big game coming up. But let's break down some of what happened and what we saw. Like I said, tail of two halves, Bears took an 11-point lead into halftime, and they were unable to, 11-point lead into the fourth quarter rather, and were unable to score any more points. Any more points when the game was in the balance. Had to make a comeback attempt, fell down by 10 with time running down in the fourth quarter, and were really put themselves behind the eight ball with a lot of their mistakes that they had. Read you off some of these numbers real quick. The Bears had 172 to 80 first half yards for the Vikings, 8 first downs to 4. Bears favored 303 for 7 on third down to 0 for 5 for the Vikings, and notably that last mark, 3 for 7 on third down for the Bears and 0 for 5 for the Vikings, flipped in the second half. I think that's a very telling stat because the Bears, as we know, were putting themselves behind the eight ball long down in distance because they kept getting those penalties, and they proved costly. And they definitely stalled a couple of drives in the first half, and they kept them from getting anything going really in the second half as well. So that's definitely something to look forward to, or look forward to them trying to improve going forward. But it's been an issue all summer, all training camp, all off season. So we'll see if there is a remedy for that, or if they're just going to have to try to find a way to minimize that as much as possible. Second half numbers: 174 to 145 total net yards in favor of the Vikings, 20 to 14. Those first downs were still in favor of the Bears at that point. And like I told you, that 3 for 7 to 0 for 5 third down mark did flip. The Bears led J.J. McCarthy on the night when they honored the 85 Bears. Let J.J. McCarthy join Steve Young as the first one of only 2 quarterbacks in the last 45 years to overcome a double-digit deficit in the fourth quarter in their NFL debut. Moreover, McCarthy is the first NFL quarterback to account for 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter of his NFL debut. And the 2 quarterbacks definitely had some split halves there. And Williams finished 21 to 35, 210 yards, 1 touchdown, took 2 sacks. One of those sacks he kind of put on himself running out of bounds, and ended up getting credit to Javon Hargrave, who I believe had both of the Viking sacks on the night. McCarthy, 143 yards on 13 of 20 passing, 2 touchdowns. He took 3 sacks as well. Both quarterbacks had some running touchdowns as well, so I don't want to minimize their rushing contributions. Williams did say that that's something that he will look to do more of going forward. Williams in the second half was 8 of 19 for 98 yards. McCarthy was 8 of 12 for 95 yards. So the same yard production with a much more efficient clip for McCarthy and the Vikings. And then, of course, the Bears wasted their 3-sack effort and a pick 6 from Deshaun Wright in his debut against his former team, the Vikings. So a lot of stuff to clean up for the Bears. Like I said, they don't have much to rest for. They have to go up against the Detroit Lions next week on Sunday. Talked about a short week. They'll have to get back to work this week and try to iron up those issues that have been haunting them all summer, spring, and training camp. Josh Boycott reporting to you live from Soldier Field, where the Bears lost to the Minnesota Vikings 27-24 on Monday Night Football in Week 1 of the 2025 season.